Hey there, I'm an animated Connor Walsh, which is kind of ironic because people say I'm pretty animated in real life. Anyway, welcome to Walsh Wednesday, my new/old podcast. Let me explain. Back in high school in 2013, I was pressured by some friends to do an impromptu solo acoustic performance in my cafeteria. Believe it or not, people really took to it. And it turned into a monthly musical series I did through the rest of high school. Who said High School Musical wasn't realistic? By college, I turned Walsh Wednesday into a web series, focusing on interviews surrounding community events, charities, and local entertainment in the Hudson Valley and capital regions of New York. Walsh Wednesday spawned several spin-offs such as the Walsh Wednesday Concert Series, Walsh Wednesday Spotlights, and Walsh Wednesday The Reflective Series before its hiatus in 2021. After that, I spent the last 3 years working in radio, honing my craft, conducting unbelievable interviews, traveling to fascinating places, attending mind-blowing events, and meeting some of my personal heroes. Now, with the help of some awesome people I've met along the way, I'm bringing Walsh Wednesday back bigger and better than ever. Let's stay curious, keep an open mind, and as always, I'm glad we get to spend some time. Welcome to Walsh Wednesday. On this week's episode, we're speaking with Nashville award-winning songwriter and musician Ash Taylor, and after that, we're speaking to the host of the Home From Here podcast and founder of the Lifted Porject, John Burton. Special thanks to Impact PR and Communications, Teespring, Walsh Valuation, and IABLE Board 114. Typically, this would be the part of the intro where I would say, on with the show. But I have something really important to share. It's time for the Walsh Wednesday Fund Drive. After over 3 years of hiatus, Walsh Wednesday is back, and I'm looking to make this into a legitimate business, offering high-quality production and meaningful segments that you're going to love spending some time with again and again. Of course, thank you to everyone who's been here for the first 10 episodes of the revival. I feel truly blessed to have been able to speak with the first 24 guests, and I'm excited for what's to come. Starting a business is not cheap. By becoming a donor, you're investing in grassroots community outreach, arts and entertainment, up-and-coming creators, local businesses, regional and national charities, plus important causes. To help elevate Walsh Wednesday, I kindly encourage you to become a donor on our GoFundMe page. To donate, please visit gofundme.com/f/Walsh Wednesday. Our goal is to raise $10,000. It's hefty, I know, but I have a lot of faith in this, and I hope you do too. Not to mention, if you have a business or organization that wants to advertise through Walsh Wednesday and you want to sponsor a number of episodes, you can contact Connor at cmjwentertainment.com and write Walsh Wednesday Fund Drive in the subject of the email, and I'd be happy to work with you. But wait, there's more. Both Walsh Wednesday and myself have been nominated for Hudson Valley Magazine's Best of Hudson Valley 2025 awards. Walsh Wednesday is up for Best Local Podcast, while I'm currently in the running for Best Male Vocalist, Best Singer, and Best Radio DJ. In order to vote, go to bestof.hvmag.com. It's an honor to be nominated along with so many great artists, public figures, and Hudson Valley organizations. I feel truly blessed to have gotten these nominations, so thank you to everyone out there. You currently have until 5 p.m. on April 6th to vote. Thank you to everybody who has helped elevate Walsh Wednesday this year, and thank you for your donation. Okay, now with all that being said, on with the show. Hey there, and welcome back to Walsh Wednesday. As always, I'm your host, Connor Walsh, and I am so excited to have our guest on right now, all the way from Nashville. This is her third time on Walsh Wednesday. The original iteration she was on, then she came on for the Reflective Series during the pandemic. Now we have her back for the revival. I'm super excited to have her on. We have award-winning songwriter and musician out of Nashville, Tennessee. We have with us Ash Taylor. Ash, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. Thank you for having me back. Third time's a charm. So, yeah, thanks for not getting sick of me and asking me to come back.
Absolutely. Well, it was funny because, we kind of went on a hiatus of talking just because we got busy. Yeah. And then you saw something on Instagram. We got talking. It was like, all right, so when's the next time we're getting you on then? So thank you, Instagram, for that.
Dude, Instagram is awesome. No, I mean, I know we've known each other for years, and I feel like with the pandemic, a lot of friends I used to talk to quite a bit, now maybe I didn't, different things, but I'm glad that Instagram put us back together, and I'm just happy to be here getting to talk to you today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because I was talking to one of my best friends locally, and he was saying something that happened back in 2019, 2018 only feels like a year ago, but things that happened actually a year ago feel like they were 5 years ago. I don't know if that makes sense to
I
you.
That's my life. That's literally how I feel every single day. Like it blows my mind. I'm like, really? But yeah, I couldn't agree. I feel like 2019 was maybe like last year,
Yeah,
and it's not.
exactly.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
wild.
And then when I try to think back, it's like, was that last year or 2023? And then I look it up. Oh, shoot, that was 2021. Okay, wow, all right. Or something like that. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, the last 5 years have just been insane, man. But a lot of growth has happened in that time, and definitely a lot of awesome things to talk about. And I got to address the elephant in the room. We both have a stake on Wednesdays. We both have an affinity for the middle of the week. I can see it
Yep.
partially behind you over your shoulder right now. Ash Wednesday. I love it. As you can tell, I love the alliteration. You're taking the pun on, the holiday and everything. I think it's perfect. Let's talk about that for a second, since this is Walsh Wednesday. Walsh Wednesday meets Ash Wednesday. What exactly is Ash Wednesday, and what do you do with this then?
I love it. Yeah, who doesn't love a Wednesday, man? Hump day, as they say. Well,
Exactly.
yeah, I kind of got the idea, basically to start a weekly live stream. So every Wednesday night at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, I go live on my Facebook and on my YouTube, and we basically have a big party. So people tune in, and every episode starts out with my husband Chris and I. So my husband Chris is my band leader and lead guitar player, and we literally start just by picking out guitars, and we just kind of let people tune in, so we get a little jam session going on. Sometimes my puppy Mel, our golden retriever, she'll make an appearance and hang out, so people love the dogs. But from there it's amazing. So we play some live music. I'll play maybe like an original song that people know and love. I'll play a cover sometimes I'll actually play like a brand new song that I just wrote. Like maybe I don't even really know the words to it, but we'll play it for people, and they're kind of like the first to hear it. And then we just kind of hang out. Fans can tune in, they can ask questions. I'll talk about like what we got going on this week, special announcements, just kind of filling people in on stuff they need to know. And then the first Wednesday of every month, we actually do a giveaway. So whether it's some of my merch, or maybe sometimes we'll have a company sponsor and they'll give us something to give out to folks. But it's literally just a big party that happens on my social media every Wednesday night. And I am a sucker for puns. And so when I had this idea to kind of create this party, I was like, well, if your name's Ash, like, how do you not do it on Wednesdays and call it Ash Wednesdays? I mean, am I wrong? Like, so people laugh. People think it's so funny, and I do too. So I'm glad they get my sense of humor. So,
No, I love it. I'm all about puns. I'm all about the dad jokes. And, growing
so
up Catholic, Ash Wednesday was, prominent in my life. So this was just, I love it. I love the sense of humor that you got in it. That's fantastic. And I've talked to a number of musicians recently on the show about drumming up the engagement. And in a world where everything is technological, everybody's going to the algorithms and everything, how do you stay authentic and engaging on a personal level while also trying to beat this algorithm and everything? So,
yeah.
how would you say that Ash Wednesday has helped you as an artist to be able to connect with your fans and be your authentic self?
I actually think I kind of started it for that exact reason. And what I mean by that is like I always really just try to be myself. Like when we hit record on this live stream, I try to be the same way I was before, just chatting with you. After this, I have a couple meetings. I'm gonna, go hang out with family. I just try to be always the same because that's who I am. And I think the person, the artist, if you will, Ash Taylor, is really just like a magnification of my personality. And so my whole thing though is like, we have shorts and reels, and these different short videos. We have music videos, we have all this stuff, and those are very much who I am and whatnot. But I also think sometimes it can, I think like little short videos that we post are kind of meant to drag you in. So maybe they're over exaggerated a little bit because it's supposed to grab your attention while you're scrolling and be like, hey guys, and so that's me, but it's maybe trying to sell you something. I always joke with music videos. I usually, of course, will have like my hair and makeup professionally done, and I look really glammed up, and I don't always look that way.
Who
And so what
does?
I love
Who
about Ashley,
does?
who does, but that's all part of it, and I love all those different parts. But when we do Ash Wednesdays, because it's live, there's just no filter. I mean, it's like sometimes I don't even wear makeup. I'm usually barefoot. I'm in my house. I got my husband, my dog. Maybe I make a mistake. Maybe I say something super dumb. That happens weekly, probably. But that's the point. Is like it's a very relaxed environment to where it's like, let me go live and let me just hang out with my fans, whoever can tune in, and let me just talk to people. Let me get to know what's going on in their life. Let me tell them what's going on in mine. It's a way that I can basically show people like, this is really who I am. This is my authentic self, my authentic personality. There's no big fancy cameras. There's not a bunch of like super fancy microphones. Like, we're just hanging out and having a good time. And I think for me, that's just a very important part of who I am as a person and as an artist is like, I may take parts of who I am and my personality and blow it up from time to time, like on stage or in a music video or whatever. But like, I'm still just the same person. And I just want to show that to people and give fans and people a chance to get to know me for who I am.
Mm.
And I also would like to know who my fans are, if that makes sense. Right.
Yes.
So sometimes if you comment on a reel or I like it, don't get me wrong, I love it. And you're helping me fall into an algorithm. But when we're live and people are asking me a question, like I kind of get to know like, well, or they give me feedback on a song. I mean, that's the thing is like I can sit up here and play a brand new song, and based on the way my fans are commenting in in the comment section of that live stream, it's like, well, here's a live in the moment raw performance of this song that's brand new. How do people respond to it? What are the questions? Like, what do people want to know about me? What are things about my life that people are like, oh, I find that interesting, and so for me, it helps me actually not only share who I am, but I get to know who are my fans, what do they like, and how can I connect with them better. So that's kind of why I put the time into doing a weekly live stream. One, it's fun, but two, I find it helpful.
Yeah.
So
I bet because you got like your own little round table going on to be able to workshop
yeah.
everything, and that's
Mhm.
great. But then also at the same time, in a media landscape where everything is so curated, it's just
Mhm.
refreshing to be able to be yourself and do it barefoot and just have
Yeah.
fun with it. I feel that I'm a big Jimmy Buffett fan, so I'm all about like going up on stage barefoot and everything. So like I'm with
Yeah.
you on that. No,
Yeah.
I think that's phenomenal. And I'm happy to hear that you're able to connect with your fans. As you said, you get to learn about them as much as they get to learn about you. And I think that's something that we're missing in a lot of cases these days.
Yes. Well, and
No.
I kind of think of it about it from this way. And I know we've known each other for years, so you already know that I'm weird. So I just, we already know. But in all honesty, like, I mean, so like I love writing songs. I love being an artist. I'm blessed to do this full time. This is my job. It's like I love this. If people didn't show up to shows and if they didn't go stream my music and if they didn't buy merch, if they didn't do these things, I would not be sitting in this chair right now.
Yeah.
And so, as much as I think a lot of artists kind of, and I get it can be easy to do, I think sometimes artists are really capable of getting very self absorbed, where they're like, it's all about me, it's all about me. And it's like, it is, but it's not because it's like, your fans are, they're your family. They're the best feedback you're ever going to get. They're, they're the ones that actually pay your bills and actually support you. And so, I think the more that you can actually learn what they like, what they want, who they are, what's going on, then the more that you can actually build that relationship with them and then go out and do our job, which is really to put out music and create experiences that they enjoy. And it's like that's a very simplified way of looking at that. I know, but I'm like, that's my personal belief on how I think the music industry really should work. If it doesn't always, but I think it should work that way.
I think
You
you're
know,
right. I'm with you on that 100%. Well, that's the whole reason why I brought Walsh Wednesday back to be able to
awesome.
have these authentic conversations and to be able to talk and learn and grow with each other in real time. That's why I love this. And
Yeah,
I think, as long as we keep championing it, I think we're going to get something out of it. I think that's great.
totally.
And of course, all the fans, the family, everybody that you bring together, we're talking about puns and the alliteration. You have a special name for them, don't you?
I do. I do. We call my official fan club the Bad Ashes. So we have shirts that literally say I'm a badass, ashtaylor.com. But yeah, it's funny. We actually, I had a guy at a show one time make a joke. I got done playing and I was playing like a guitar solo type thing or whatever, and I get down off stage and that guy was like, "So your name's Ash?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Huh, you're badass, aren't you?" And I thought it was hilarious. So we asked the fans, we literally put up a poll one day and we were like, "Hey, so like we need a fan club name. Like, what do y'all, what do you think? And it was hands down, like, they were like, I want to be a bad Ash. Like, that's pretty cool. So yeah, but I mean, it's really awesome. We have a really great group, really great community. And I mean, they're all just wonderful, wonderful people that just love music. So if anyone's interested in joining, just head on over to my website, ashtaylor.com. You'll see a tab up there on the website that says join the bad ashes. But it's really cool. We have free memberships. It's $5 a month if you would like to support me in my music. So not too much money, but we actually do a lot of special things for the bad ashes because they're super cool, clearly, right? But we do a lot of stuff like meet and greet passes. So if I'm ever like coming your way on tour and it's like, oh, you get free meet and greets. We actually have exclusive merch for them that only they can buy and wear and sport at shows. We do all kinds of like special behind the scenes content. For example, like I just put out a music video. I guess that was about last month. So my Bad Ashes, my official fan club, they actually got to see the music video before anybody, even my mom. Like they saw it way before it was out to the
Wait,
public. They got to see, yeah.
wait, is your mom not a bad Ash?
No, and I don't know. Well, she is, but she's not. Yeah. Her attitude is like, well, I birthed you and gave you life, and therefore there's that.
That's
But yeah,
hilarious.
but no, it's so funny. But yeah, or like I was just in the studio like working on some new tunes and stuff, and like we literally were in the middle of mixing my next single, and so I like got out my cell phone and I was able to literally like share a clip it though of like here's my next single. I'm right now in the studio mixing it, and like they got to hear that. And they get to see like me show up at the studio with 20 guitars and trying to figure stuff out. And so I mean we give them like the totally unfiltered behind the scenes look on top of like just all these other different things. So it's a lot of fun. And I mean, they're just a great group of people. I so love and appreciate all of them. And I mean, they literally help me do what I'm able to do. And so they really are bad ashes. I mean, they're so cool. And I just love and appreciate every single member.
That is so, so cool that you're able to do that. Again, I love the name. It's also so ironic about your mom, but I think that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Dude, I'm gonna
Um,
send her this when this
well,
episode comes out. When this episode comes out, I'm gonna send it to my mom and be like, "See, mom, you should join $5 a month."
right?
There you go.
I love it. No, I think I'd have a hard time not showing my parents something before it officially airs because
Mhm.
they are so nosy and I love them because they like nosy in the best way. They're always like, "So, who you talking to? What you working on? Oh, I
Yeah.
thought I heard something. So what are you working on?" So I love it. I don't think I'd be able to put out much without them knowing whether I tried to or not.
No, I mean, and I think that's awesome, and it makes a lot of sense. And some stuff I do show to my mom, but my mom sometimes, God bless her, she's very much like she just thinks everything is great, and she's
Mm,
not musical whatsoever. Like my mom cannot clap on the beat. I mean, she jokes about it. But she's just not. She loves music, and I show her stuff sometimes, but she's not. For me, it's like she's like, "Oh, honey, that was wonderful."
yep.
Now, if I send something to one of my younger brothers, though, they will straight up tell me, they'll be like, that's trash. That's
Yeah.
terrible. That's bad. What
Well,
are you
that's what
doing?
brothers are for. That's
They
what brothers are
are.
for.
Oh, dude, they are. So like when I want like a really honest critique of something, I know they won't hold back. But they care too. Like you can tell they're super proud, super supportive. But like I'll send them something and they'll be like, nope, I don't like that. And here's why. And I'm like, thank you so much.
But
But I'll go
that's
fix it.
good. You need
Yeah.
that. You need
You
that.
do, you do. But yeah, and sometimes you don't want to hear it sometimes,
Also
but
true.
it just makes you better though. It really
Yeah.
does. And I'd rather like put a lot of work and time into something and have something be right before I put it out there for everyone else to see and get that harsh criticism now versus like put it out and then be like, oh, darn it, like
Yeah.
not doing what I wanted. So it's all part of the process, part of growing.
No, I hear you on that. And of course, talking about your biggest critics, your brothers, the day that this is airing is one of your brother's birthdays. You want to give a quick shout out?
Yes, happy birthday, Tristan. Yeah, my youngest brother. He actually just moved out. So I'm from California, but I've been clearly in Tennessee for years now. Here in Nashville doing my thing. But he actually moved out here a couple years ago.
Oh,
So he just lives around the corner with him and his wife. So yeah, it's his birthday. So happy birthday, Tristan.
happy birthday, Tristan. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Not only is it a Walsh Wednesday, is it an Ash Wednesday, but it's also
yeah.
a birthday. So
There you
we
go.
love it.
What a
Perfect.
day.
So
Yeah.
So you're talking about working in the studio, releases, everybody getting to see stuff, and how like the Bad Ashes got to hear the latest music video and see the latest music video before it came out. Let's talk about it for a second. Stuck on Indiana, great song, love it. You even got to go on a couple, I think, a couple of TV programs to perform it, if I remember
Did, yeah.
seeing on your Instagram. Walk us through the experience that you've had with the song, and also why Indiana? Because as you said, you're from California and
Yeah.
you're living in Nashville, so run us through the story. Run us through
Sure.
the experience of Stuck on Indiana.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I wrote this song by myself, and I actually wrote it like, why Indiana? That's because my husband Chris is actually from Indiana,
There you
and
go.
so he grew up. There you go. So yeah, he grew up in a very small town, Summit, Indiana. We met though here in Nashville. We actually met at the Guitar Center here in Nashville. Um, but I where the kind of the song came from and the idea is. I never actually thought that I was going to get married. I really thought that I would, I just thought all boys were trouble. I never met someone that I felt like made me a better version of myself. I was like, no, I'm good. So I thought, man, I'm just going to write country songs and I'm going to hang out with my dog. And like, I've had my whole life planned out. And then I met my now husband and everything changed. And my husband is just wonderful. He's a huge supporter. Honestly, just too good to me to where I don't think I deserve him, but I'm gonna keep him anyway. But my husband is also a big part of what I do musically. He's my manager, he's my band leader, and he's my lead guitar player. So
Mm.
he actually is very good with like videography and different things. And so he actually shot and edited and fully produced the music video for my current single, Stuck on Indiana. But
Wow.
if you Yeah, so he's a huge part of what I do musically, and I just love and appreciate him so much. But I'm really not, believe it or not. I know I'm weird. I own it, but I don't really write a lot of love songs. And that's just not. I love love, but I'm like, I don't know. Just for me as a writer, I don't. And so I kind of have this idea in my phone of like, instead of naming people by names, like call them the state that they're from. And so that's kind of where the idea for Stuck on Indiana kind of came from.
Nice.
So you have things like in the chorus where it's like, I don't miss Mississippi, and there's nothing new with New Orleans, and California keeps calling, and Tennessee misses me. I
Yeah.
never had a problem leaving, blah blah blah. But I'm stuck this time. I'm stuck on Indiana. And so, yeah,
Mm.
so I wrote the song for my husband, and I tell you what, we have had the craziest time with this song, man. It has blown my mind. I think it's probably the best release I've ever done as far as like certain things. And my first record that I put out in 2019, which, as we were talking about, that feels like it was last year. It was
Yeah.
not.
No.
But my first record that I put out was an EP called Bakersfield, after my hometown, and that charted at number
Fantastic, by the
60
way.
on the I. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think that coming out is actually how you and I kind of got connected.
It was. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm super proud of that record. Very proud of it still. But that charted on iTunes and a lot of success. But I think other than that, Stuck on Indiana has just been so well received. So we actually ended up going on a 5-month tour. So the Stuck on Indiana tour, we kicked it off actually at the Sweetwater Sound headquarters. So we went there.
No. Oh, that's
Yeah,
sick.
man. Super cool. So we kicked it off there. Their headquarters is in Fort Wayne, Indiana. But it was amazing. So we went up there, kicked it off, performed a bunch. I actually taught a master class on songwriting. Amazing time. And then from there, we went to like basically about 10 different states, just traveling all around, playing all over the country. So we have a really big successful tour off the song. Then yeah, we were asked to perform it live actually on NBC's Today in Nashville. So
Nice.
we were asked to do some television performances. It's been picked up by a bunch of people, put on a bunch of playlists, and a lot of people just really seem to be loving it. And so I'm just really grateful for all the love shown to this song, and it's special, and I think it's cool that I wrote it by myself for my husband. But also I think something that's really cool is Chris and I actually go in and we record all of our own guitar parts when we go into the studio. So when you hear the record of Stuck on Indiana, that's Chris and I playing all the guitar parts. So like that's Chris playing the solo, and it's just, I think that's really cool because it's like the song is about you, but I'm going to put you to work on this song. So, you know, like I may write a love song for you, but like you're gonna earn it, buddy. Like you know, but you know, I think stuff like that has just made it so special, though. And then to see people's
Yeah.
response to it, and maybe for you it's not Indiana, maybe for you it's Mississippi or it's wherever. But I've had actually a lot of fans post things where it's like you know stuck on California, and it's a picture of them and their
Hmm.
spouse, and it's just awesome. So I've loved having that song out there in the world.
No, that's awesome. And I'm so happy to hear what it's been doing for you. It's a great song. It's a great music video. And I love the story behind it. It's funny because my girlfriend, she teases me at times. Is like, so when am I going to be singing on one of your records, Connor? Like, what's going on here? And is like, you're right. We got to get it to happen. There's a couple
Yeah,
songs in particular that I did write for her that I would love to have her on. So
there you go.
it's just a match. It's just a matter of settling down to actually work in the studio again. Starting up a company takes a lot of your time.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, dude, tell me about it. I'm sure you probably don't sleep like ever.
no,
You
no.
know. Yeah.
It's a
Same here.
lot. But I love what you and Chris are able to do together. And I got to say this because, it's kind of rare to see where you
Mm,
have a partner that is so invested in what the other partner does. And it's one thing to be able to like truly believe in your partner, but
yeah.
to be able to collaborate the way that you guys do is really impressive and frankly rare because sometimes egos get in the way, sometimes
Right.
arrogance gets in the way, sometimes it's like am I really sometimes that little green monster comes out and it's like
Mhm.
is this what I want, is this, and then you kind of have those issues. But knowing you guys, also seeing what you post online, the music that you put out, like you guys seem to have a very strong and healthy relationship. So,
Mhm.
for those who are out there, whether there's one creative or two creatives in the relationship, what is it about you guys' relationship that you feel works to be able to have the love and the business
Mhm.
at the same time?
That's a really good question, and thank you for asking that. I think that it's a couple of reasons because you know that's one of the reasons why I never wanted to get married is I felt like I couldn't really I never found someone before him that I found made me a better version of myself, and someone that could maybe actually tell me hard truths and you know motivate me to be better, someone that I could trust. I mean so there's a lot that goes into it, but I think there's a couple of reasons why we have the marriage that we have. And you know one for starters is we actually got engaged 2 days before the lockdown happened during the pandemic. Yeah, we take full responsibility. It was probably our fault, guys.
Oh
But
no.
you know, so like, you know, we got engaged and you know, we're so happy and we went ahead and we started to plan a wedding and all this stuff. And then it's like 2 days later, boom, the world shuts down. So we started our engagement by having a global pandemic. And then from there, you know, it was like a series, it was like a bad movie, but we had a lot of hardships, believe it or not, our first couple of years. So, just to name a few in a very long laundry list of things that we went through. So, we got engaged, the pandemic, the world shuts down. We both ended up losing our jobs because music and all that went away. We also had a tornado come through Nashville, really bad tornadoes. Our whole street was damaged. Our house was damaged. The owner of the house that we were renting at the time actually sold the house out from underneath us because of the damages and all this stuff. You know, he just wanted out. So we ended up moving into then from living in a big house to going to a very small, tiny apartment. It was terrible. It was the only thing available, you know, in the
Yeah.
pandemic. It was a mess. So then we had a car die. We literally both sold blood platelets and did everything we could. We both were working 3 or 4 jobs just to kind of try to stay afloat. We built businesses, we lost businesses. With music not really coming back and whatnot, that was crazy. And then I actually, in October 2020, I actually had a day where I didn't click on anything. I did nothing. I literally woke up out of bed one day in October 2020 and I got an email saying that I had been removed as the admin for my Facebook page at the time. And so long story short, yeah. So long story short, I had a Facebook page, about 100,000 followers, you know, verified artist page, whole kit and caboodle. Well, that was hacked. Facebook had done an update and they had a data leak. And so it was hacked. And when they got that, they not only got my music page and all that and started posting. It was a whole thing, but they also got my business bank account, my Spotify. They got access to pretty much everything that I've had. So about 5 years of being an artist, 5 years of working my butt off, was all gone. So I did not sing a note. I didn't even hum a note or pick a guitar for over a year. I had no idea what to do. And Facebook was not very helpful. I actually know 100 different artists here in Nashville that this exact thing that I'm describing to you actually happened to them all on the same day, the day that this update happened. And so a lot of them then on top of the pandemic, because you have to think this is on top of the pandemic. So not only are we not playing shows or going out and we're all struggling, but now it's like, well, I can't even go online. Like I can't even do a live stream or post. I mean, it's all gone. So I tried for about a year though to get it back, and it just was really clear that that wasn't going to happen. So I kind of regrouped. And to be honest with you, I hate to say it because I like to be a badass and think that I'm tough. But man, that shook me to my core. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever been more depressed, and to have so many years of hard work just like taken away like that, and not really have the ability to get it back and all. I was like, do I just quit music? Like, what do I do? And my husband looked at me and he said, oh, hell no, you're not. And he kicked my butt and was like, come on, get it together. And I was like, okay, okay. But you know what? I needed that. And so from there, we've also rebuilt my entire music career together. Right.
Wow.
We've rebuilt a home together. We've got married. We've been through pandemics and job loss. And I mean, so that's how we started though, like our, and there's more to that, but that's a very short thing of like, that was the first couple of years of our engagement and the first couple of years of us being married. So one, we've been through a lot together, which has built a lot of trust. We have helped each other confront really difficult things and improve each other's health and well-being and all of that. I think another thing, just to be honest, and I'm not trying to in any way preach, and if someone has different beliefs than me, totally cool. But I accepted Jesus when I was 17. And I think if you look at the layout for biblical marriage, I think that that is very, very, very important. And, I know it's rare for husband and wives, or really sometimes even friends or whoever, to work together in such a close proximity, trying to do the thing, and you have egos come up and you have this come up. But I think if you really understand what Jesus taught, and if you have a relationship with him and a walk with him, there's no room for egos. Right. And so when you kind of have that as the center of your marriage, that really affects everything that you do. And it's kind of a good thing, though, I think, for sure. I mean, I think that's why we have such a good marriage, on top of just going through so much together, is because we don't have an ego, and you kind of really, you're under the understanding that like it doesn't matter if he's winning or if I'm winning, because if he's winning or I'm winning, we're both winning because we're a
Mhm.
team and we confront everything together. And so you're just happy for the other person, and your attitude doesn't come, what can I get out of this relationship? It's what can I give to it? And we have two people both showing up every day saying, what can I do today to add to like what we're doing? That's a very different outlook than I think a lot of people, have. It's kind of very similar to what I was talking about a little bit ago with like fans,
Yeah.
where it's like, I don't want to show up to a show and have fans be like, oh, this is all about Ash. It's like, no, I want them to come to a show. They've spent their hard-earned money to be here, and I want to make it all about them. Right. I want to know, like, and I think when you kind of get out of your own head and you focus on other people, whether that's your spouse, your friends, your fans, it's like, that's where I think you can actually make a difference in the world and have a relationship that lasts, and that you can actually go not just be together, but go change the world together. So hopefully, I know that was kind of long, but hopefully that maybe shed some light on, and I'm not a marriage counselor or anything like that, but we've been together for 7 years this fall, and we've been married for, it will be 4 years this May. And we've been through a lot, but it's like that, those are really the things that where I'm like, I think these make such a difference in our marriage. And if that inspires someone else out there to pick that up and be like, you know what? I'm going to try to, do that. So don't worry about what your spouse is not doing for you. Just go figure out what can I do for them. Just
Yeah.
show the love.
Oh my God. Amazing story. And I did not know that you went through that back in October 2020, how you lost
Yeah,
everything. That's
everything.
insane. But that's also
Yeah.
amazing that you guys were able to rise out of the ashes and
Yeah.
be able to come out of it even stronger in so many ways.
Absolutely. And thank you, man. Yeah, it was a really hard time. And I mean, I couldn't even get a personal Facebook account for like 2 years
Oh my God.
because people, like, basically I would start one and it would say I was impersonating myself. I couldn't do a live stream. I know, it's so dumb. It's so
Oh,
dumb. But I think when all that happened, I mean, clearly it was a lot, but I think what was really cool is then when we got back into doing music, and my husband basically was like, get it together, lady, let's go, and I'm like, oh, you're right, okay, yes. We basically just started from scratch and did a whole rebranding. And I think honestly it was really nice though, because I feel like it already, when you've already lost everything and you're starting something over, there's not a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah.
And and you're kind of, because all the ties of what you did do or what you have, like they all just got cut. So you're starting from ground zero, but you also have the experience and the expertise that you have through years of doing this to know, okay, well, since I'm starting over, I know what to do and what not to do. And so I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. So I'm going to rebuild this from the ground up. And so, I started basically, I started doing music basically again. It would have been in, let's see, that would have been 2023, basically June 1st of
Wow.
2023. So if you
Wow.
think about it, though, we've started from the ground up, and but like that short amount of time, right? And just say, almost 2 years, a few much shy of 2 years. It's like, okay, well, I just toured the country and I put out all this music and I've done this and I've done, and it's like that I'm able to kind of bounce back so quickly. And so now
Yeah.
I would say in some ways I've even surpassed where I was. And you just have to kind of look at it though, where I was like, I'm not gonna feel sorry for myself. I'm just gonna get up. I know what needs to be done. I'm gonna go put in the work and let's stop focusing on what we lost and let's go look ahead to what we can do. And I think this next year is gonna be just huge for us. Well, I say this next year, 2025. I guess we're in that year, aren't we?
It's still
um,
early. It's still
it's
early. There's
still
a lot
early.
of
I don't
year
know.
to have and
Yeah.
conquer and take over
Yeah.
and do all that. I feel you.
Yeah. But it's it's just really, really exciting. So I honestly, to make a long story short, I wouldn't change any of that though. I think it was a blessing in disguise for sure.
Absolutely. Through many of the challenges, we get to see who we really are, show our stripes, and see what we can make out of that. And not only in a musical sense, not only in a business sense, but it sounds in a very heartfelt relationship sense and personal sense you were able to get out of that. So honestly, Ash, I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you. I am so, so proud of you for all of
Thanks.
that. Amazing. So we've talked about your husband a lot now in building this back up and everything. I feel like we should at least give him a shout out with another thing that he does. He's also got a very successful YouTube channel for
He sure
cooking.
does.
For
Yeah.
cooking.
Yeah.
Not like here he is like videography, guitar, management, all these things that he says that y'all been doing. But then he's got this cooking channel as well with like over 120,000 subscribers. So do you want to give a shout out
Yeah.
to Chris Cooking Nashville?
That's the guy, Chris Cooking Nashville. Check him out on YouTube. Yeah, and that's kind of, I talked about how he kind of helped me get through all of the stuff with music. And my husband is an amazing musician. I mean, incredible. I mean, he sings all the harmony parts of my records. We talked about being the band leader. Like, I mean, he wears so many hats, and he's so good at so many things. But yeah, he actually started a YouTube channel. This was back in I guess 2023, because it was back when I was kind of getting into music. He was like, wanting to help people, but he has a really incredible health journey. So when I first met him, he weighed about 400 pounds and was just depressed, anxiety. And so he started doing basically a low carb diet. And to date, he has lost 130 plus pounds.
Good for
And
him.
he's rid of anxiety, rid of depression. And so, yeah, so when I'm not doing music, him and I mean, he does all the cooking. I don't cook, but I help him with the camera work. And, like just before I was talking to you this morning, we were actually talking to some people in the UK where we actually, though, we have a YouTube channel where we do recipes and interviews and stuff, but we actually go around the world and we share a story of how eating low carb has really helped us. And so we help people get fit, we help them get healthy, we motivate them, we encourage them. And so, yeah, so it's a major blessing, but he is a very successful YouTuber. So we do music and YouTube full time. Like you said, I think it has him today. He has 123,000 subscribers, about 7 million views. He's had, I think, what is it, like 15, something like that, viral recipes.
Wow.
So it's changed our lives. I mean, it's changed our lives. It's incredible. He's currently writing his first cookbook, which is going to be out pretty much everywhere. I mean, like, it's insane. So I'm very proud of my husband. Very, very proud. So thank you for letting me give him a shout out. But yes, if you guys like to cook and want to be healthy, check out Chris Cooking Nashville. Check out my husband. I'll be there too. I usually eat food, don't cook it, but but it's great. I mean, it's again another blessing on top of music. It's just changed our lives, and we are so grateful for everyone over there.
Amazing. That is so, so good. And I'm sure the benefits of tasting everything alone is just a huge win.
Oh, hands down, hands down. Yeah, we have a whole system where it's like, he does all the cooking and creates recipes, and then I actually am behind the camera, so I actually will help film everything and all that, and then we taste test. That's my favorite part, and then I do the dishes. So again, teamwork, right? We work
Teamwork.
together and we get it done. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I love that. Amazing stuff, Ash. So let's look forward to this incredible year that you're planning and getting going. You already have
Yeah.
Stuck on Indiana. You're going to be promoting that for a while, I'm sure, because it is still relatively new. It's still in the infancy of the release.
Yeah.
So, but besides that, you were telling me that you have new music on the way that you're recording. And
Yeah.
even though there are some show dates on your website, you're about to announce a heck of a lot more. How much can we talk about right now?
Let's dive in. Okay.
Let's dive
So yeah,
in.
no, let's dive in. Yeah, well, I'm really looking, so 2024 I think was like the best year of my life musically ever. 2025 is already off to an incredible start. So for starters, for touring, we are going to be going to a we're everywhere this year. And yes, I do have a couple dates already listed on my website, ashtaylor.com, if y'all want to check it out, see if we're coming to a place near you. But so we're actually right now starting touring season off in April. So on Saturday, April 5th, I'm actually going to California, to my hometown of Bakersfield, and I'm actually starting the year off by playing the Haggard Boxcar Festival there. So that's huge for me.
That's
I'm really
cool.
looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome. So, growing up in Bakersfield, of course, you got Buck Owens and Merle Haggard, but I was asked to be a part of this event. And basically, what it is a music festival, but it's also a celebration, because they're taking Merle Haggard's childhood home, which, if you guys don't know, he's from Bakersfield. They're taking it from the Kern County Museum where it's been, and they're actually going to be moving it to its new home, where it probably should have been a long time ago, of the Bakersfield Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. So we're going to
Wow.
have, yeah, so the event is awesome. So it's a big music festival, but they're going to be bringing the home to its rightful place. We're going to be performing on the main stage, which is a huge honor for me. But we're going to have members of Merle Haggard's family, his sons and all will be performing music. We'll be doing that with them. Buck Owens' sons that are, currently living, the Buckaroos, Buck Owens backing band, they'll be there. And then there's so many just legends in the California country realm that will all be there, all performing music. But they also have like some hit Nashville songwriters coming out that are just massive Merle Haggard fans, like Bobby Chamberlain, for example, he wrote "One More Day" by Diamond Rio. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Oh,
So he'll be there, and then the headliner for that night is actually William Michael Morgan, who's a really well-known country artist.
that name sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
he had a couple of really big hits just a few years ago, but so we're going to be opening though for William Michael Morgan and getting to play music with all of these greats in the country music realm. So that's how we're starting the year off. And then yeah, from there we're going to Knoxville, we're going to Virginia. Um, we're going to be going up to Michigan, California. I mean, we're basically going to be everywhere. So I have some dates listed on my website. We're going to be announcing a lot more here in a week or two, and then even more after that as we're able to talk about more things. But definitely busy here with touring, so feel free to check that out. I'd love to meet people at a show. And then yeah, as far as new music, I really actually want to be this year. It was a goal of mine to put out as much new music as possible.
Mhm.
And so I am taking that pretty seriously. So I just put out Stuck on Indiana, like you were talking about, and that's doing really well. But sometime this spring, we're thinking probably in April, we're actually going to be releasing a new single. And I can tell you right now that song is called Family. Um,
Ooh,
but yeah,
nice.
so I'm excited about that. And I got like 5 or 6 other songs that we're currently in the studio working on. But I'm really excited for people to hear this new music. It is, I think it's probably the most real and authentic. And I don't know if you relate to this, but sometimes, like in my head, I kind of maybe know what I want something to sound like, but it can be hard to get that across to other people and kind of get that vision to come to life. And I feel like I'm finally kind of getting there where we've kind of figured things out enough where I'm like, this is what I wanted it to sound like, like this is what I'm
Good.
looking for. So
Good.
we're going to be releasing though a lot of new music on top of touring all over the place this year in 2025. So it will be a really great busy year for sure.
That's amazing. I'm looking forward to so much for you guys. That's incredible. Anyway, we're getting you up to New York again. It's been a while.
Dude, I would say I would totally come back. Absolutely. I loved getting to come up there and meet you and just so many
Yep.
amazing people and play music. I heart New York. I really do.
There
So
you go.
yeah.
There's a big country music scene here in New York, so a lot of people
Which
to
is so,
capitalize on.
yeah, which is, I love that though, because that's a place where I'm not really sure if people would really think that. But I agree. I mean, I felt so much love when I was up there. I guess that was in 2019.
That
I
was,
think
yeah,
was it 20,
2019. It was
yeah.
early 2019. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, I felt so much love, but yes, I don't currently have any pending dates there, but I would love, love to come back into New York, and maybe we can even meet like in person again and go out to lunch or something,
I
or
know.
play a show
Great.
together or something. I don't know. Yes. Oh, that'd be so fun.
It would be so fun. Oh my God. Yeah, because back in, well, was it 2019 that I first messaged you? Or either that or late 2018. But I know we met in person in 2019. Yeah, it
Yeah.
goes back to Bakersfield when you had your
Yeah.
EP on the charts. It was one of my teachers who told me about you because she
Yeah.
found you and she was like, this artist is just doing so many great things on her own as an independent artist. Look at all these things that she's built up and done. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. I'm just going to take a random shot and just message her. And like, you actually got back to me. So that started it all.
Yeah, and great example. Like, I'm so grateful for that, though.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like
Same.
here we
Same.
are, years later, sitting here still talking to each other, still friends. Like, I mean, I think that's freaking awesome, man. Like, I
Yeah.
love that.
You never know. You just never
Yeah.
know what you're going to get out of a situation. So,
No, definitely
yeah.
not.
And Ash, it's been phenomenal to see what has been able to happen over these last few years and now to, reconnect, to hear a lot more behind the scenes,
Yeah.
to see how it's going. And again, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. And I'm excited
Thank you.
for this next year. As we wrap up this interview right now, do you have any last little nugget for all the Walsh Wednesday listeners and all the bad Ashes out there?
Yeah, man. Well, for starters, I'm actually really proud of you. And so it's really cool to also see your growth and see all that you're doing. I love being on Walsh Wednesdays. This has been a treat. I mean, like I said, this is my third time, and it's really cool to see every single time how you grow. And so I think that's awesome. So kudos to you. I would just tell people, if you're listening to this, watching this, show Connor some love. Like, it takes a lot of work to create a business, to put yourself out there, to do these interviews. It takes time. It takes a lot. And, if you appreciate him and what he does, like I do, it's like, dude, share this with somebody, right? Listen to his episodes that he puts out, like show the love, man. Like if you find, and not just Connor, but like any creator, if you go and, to my website, ashtaylor.com, and it's like, if you like the music I listen to, dude, message me and tell me, share my music with a friend. It's like, I think that's, just a little, if I can, just a little thing though, because I think it's important that people understand, like, man, when you like one of our posts, or when you comment on it, when you share this, Walsh Wednesday episode with a friend, when you share my song on Spotify with someone, you're like, dude, listen to this is cool. That's really what keeps us doing what we're doing. And so that means a lot. So if you guys are watching, please don't mind showing, not just me, but Connor some love, because it takes a lot. And Connor, just thank you so much for having me on, man. This has been a really great time. I always love getting to hang and talk with you. Hopefully we'll get to come up to New York, and just thank
Or
you
I
for
come
being
down.
you, for being awesome. Yeah, dude, come on down. We got
Yeah.
an extra bedroom. We'll throw you an air mattress. We got you, buddy. We got you. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We might gotta get something going. Absolutely.
Totally, man. Totally.
Well, hey, Ash, thank you again so much for being here on this Walsh Wednesday. I appreciate you.
Oh, no, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I'm Connor.
I'm Ash.
And as always, we're glad we get to
Spend some time. Boom.
And that's how we wrap it up. Hey there, I'm the ad ref, and I'm calling a timeout on today's episode to tell you about our sponsors. First of all, let's throw it to Philomena in the booth. Philomena?
Thanks, Connor. I'm Philomena Finelli, CEO of Impact PR and Communications and a media maven, which is a fancy way of saying that my team and I help companies get in the news, transform leaders into thought leaders, and cut through the clutter with messaging that matters. And we do it all with a smile. Our agency was named the Woman-Owned Small Business of the Year for 2024 by the Metro New York District Office of the U.S. Small Business Administration, and we received the Gold Stevie Award for Women-Run Workplace of the Year, which is an international recognition. But it's not about the awards, it's about the personal interactions. We at Impact PR and Communications pride ourselves on crafting meaningful, results-driven public relations campaigns that are tailored to meet and exceed our clients' goals. If you want to learn more and talk to my team and I, visit prwithimpact.com and let us know that you found out about us from Walsh Wednesday. Now back to you, Ad Ref.
Thanks, Philomena. Now it's time to throw it over to a very handsome and, might I say, stylish young man. The Walsh Wednesday merch store is officially open. Now you can have my face on your body. That didn't come out right. When you visit the Walsh Wednesday merch store, you can select from hats, t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, and more. By purchasing some Walsh Wednesday merchandise, you're not only supporting this program, but you're also supporting the local arts and organizations that are featured. Just visit cmjwentertainment.com/shop-merch and use promo code REVIVAL for 20% off. All links are in the description. I decided to work with Teespring for my merch store because, well, I was already buying from them. They have comfortable and durable products, and their printing is clear and reliable. One of my favorite hoodies is from my friend's Teespring collection, Offbeat Threads. To learn how to start your own online collection, visit teespring.com. And of course, I hope you get to spend some time at the Walsh Wednesday merch store. Thanks, guys. All right, that's enough of me. Time to get this show back on the road. Hey there, and welcome back to Walsh Wednesday. As always, I'm Connor Walsh, and we got a great show for you today. I've had the pleasure of being on his show a couple of times now, and this is the second time that I've interviewed you.
Yes, sir.
This is your Walsh Wednesday debut, but
Yes.
I interviewed you before at the radio station.
You did, yep.
So we got 2 times each. We're good. We're even right
Beautiful.
now. But that's not what it's
Next
all
time's
about,
on
of
me.
course. There you go. So with me today, we have a fine artist, podcaster, philanthropist in the area. He's the host and producer of the Home From Here podcast, and of course, he's the founder of the Lifted Porject. We'll be getting into all of that shortly. With us today, John Burton. John, how are you, my man?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate this.
Yeah,
It's good to see you. Even
I
if we
know,
weren't
it's
doing
good to
it.
see you and everything. It was a blast coming to your studio
Oh,
and
thanks.
doing Home From Here last time. Being able to promote Walsh Wednesday specifically. So that was
Yeah,
great,
man.
and certainly helped me out, and we got a lot
Great.
of good clips out of it, so appreciate that. But
My
now it's
pleasure,
your
man.
turn. Now the spotlight is on you. You're the one typically doing the interviews.
Right.
Now you're being interviewed. How's that feel right now?
I have to learn to shut up. Shut up and wait for a question.
That's what editing's for. No, you're good.
That's trouble. I don't edit, so I'm screwed.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine. Before we get into the meat and bones and everything, speaking about interviewing, you have a very specific way that you go about doing your interviews. There's this thing in the business called the pre-interview.
Right.
Now, spoiler alert to all of you guys out there, not everything you see on TV or the internet is authentic. Of course, the pre-interview, whether the guests are asking for questions so they can prepare, or you're sending to make sure that you don't cross any lines, I have it to a degree, hence the cue cards and everything, but I try to keep it authentic. You don't do the pre-interview whatsoever. And you had such a great philosophy behind it. Tell me why.
Well, a couple things, and it actually has expanded now. First off, I like organic conversation, and I'm not a good actor. So if you tell me something, and then I ask you the same question 10 minutes from now, and I already know the answer,
Yeah.
you're going to get a bad actor's response to your question, which nobody wants. The same thing, my shows, like half of them are really emotional. If you sob to me 20 minutes ago, the next time you tell me the story, you might not sob to me, and it won't and it won't ring. But what's funny now? So I work with Mixcloud now, and Mixcloud is sending me. They sent me like 100 prospective guests last week alone.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it's crazy. And I'm finding that people like really want the pre-interview, and it's a point of contention for some people because they want to prepare.
Yeah.
But that's not the show. The show's not prepared. The show is come, let's find out about each other. And I've come off as rude sometimes because people will say like, let's have a 15-minute phone call. And I'm like, no, because you won't sound as good and I won't sound as good. So yeah, I don't do it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. Obviously, I got my cards, I got the Letterman tap and everything, but and I have like basic info, but I want to keep it a conversation as much as possible. And I find with at least Walsh Wednesday, the moments that we get off the cards, the moments we get off the notes, and we just go down different rabbit holes and tangents. That's
Way better.
the best.
Yeah,
that's
way better.
the best.
Way better.
Take the first episode, for instance. My buddy Trevor was on. We're just laughing our asses off the whole time.
That's the move.
Completely like forgetting the whole interview and the point that he was there.
Yeah. No,
And,
that's the move.
And it was great. And, we have a number of episodes that are like that. But then we have a number of episodes that are a little more structured, a little more serious.
Right.
And nobody has cried on Walsh Wednesday yet. But I've been told...
I can do it. If you ask me the right question, I can go.
All right, we got it. I'm going to hold you to that.
Okay.
I'm going to save some hard questions for later now. I've been told actually a couple people have cried listening to episodes because it affected them.
Right.
But nobody has cried on camera yet.
Yeah.
But...
All right, ask me the right question. I'll make it happen.
yeah, we'll get there. We'll see if we got
All right.
it. I can't cry on command either, so we'll see.
It's so funny talking about like people like coming on with an agenda. And I had Jim. I just posted the show yesterday. Jim Wagren. He's a bass player, but he's also a baseball umpire.
Oh,
And
fantastic.
I had him on for the opening day of spring training.
Yeah.
And he came in, and we were all set to talk baseball. We did 2 hours and 15 minutes, never touched baseball. So,
I love that. Jim. I had a baseball umpire named Jim like years ago.
handlebar mustache. He did the Lifted Porject.
Okay, no,
Okay.
not the same Jim then. Okay, because this guy was Big Jim, and he was like the best ump you could find, but he was also like the size of Andre the Giant. So.
Oh, no, not my guy.
No, he was fantastic. Okay, different Jims. I guess you got to be named Jim to be a baseball umpire around here, right?
Yes.
We also had a thing back in my college for stage crew for all the premiere performances. Every head usher was named Connor.
That's hilarious.
The 2 head ushers before me were Connors, and then when the guy before me left, I
Right.
took over. So
That's
it was
hilarious.
just 3 Connors in a row.
So if you want the job, just lie and put Connor as your first name anyway.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. Actually, I think I was the last head usher because the school closed down.
Oh,
so,
all right.
So I don't know about past that first Connor I'm aware of, if there were other Connors.
Right. But 3 and out, you were the last.
Threes, if I had a nickel for every time, but it's kind of crazy. But that's awesome, though, about keeping it organic, keeping it authentic. I do really like that, and I try to do it here as best as possible as well.
I mean, you used to do radio.
Yeah.
This is the art, in my opinion. The art form of podcasting is just genuine conversation, which people find more compelling.
Yeah.
And almost none of us are good enough performers or actors to engage you for a half hour knowing everything that's going to come up. It's almost impossible to do. But to find out about somebody, and by the way, you don't get to the meat and potatoes that way. The meat and potatoes comes. My favorite thing is when I'm talking to somebody on the show and they go, "Well, I've never told anybody this before, but," and I'm like, "There we go.
Jackpot.
Now we're getting somewhere."
Yeah.
And I had a guest on who used the show to tell his family that he had attempted suicide 3 times. And
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so it's kind of become that. Like you can and like if it's a scripted show, you can't get that.
No, absolutely. I think there's definitely a lot of greatness to be able to have like certain bullet points, like you know your guests to a degree.
Yeah.
Like don't be just like completely meeting them and being like, so who are you?
Right.
But also at the same time, keep it loose, keep it fun, and I think that's the best way going.
I would
about
like to
it.
try that though. I think that would be
What?
a great
Oh,
experiment.
never meeting them at all, not
Don't
knowing
know.
anything.
Just tell my producer, just send somebody in. I don't care who they are
Yeah.
or what they've done, and let me just figure them out.
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
that
I'd
would
like
be
to try
kind of
that.
fun. There is have you ever heard of it's an online show. It's oh shoot, I'm forgetting the name, but it's hosted by comedian Tig Notaro. And comedian Tig Notaro is notorious for not knowing anything in pop culture.
Right.
So celebrities will come on and she has to guess what
they
they're
are.
from or what they do or
That's
anything.
beautiful.
And it's actually really hilarious to watch.
She tells the funniest story in the world. I heard her tell the story. It's not my story. It's her story. She's big on practical jokes.
Yes.
So her and her best friend gets invited to this party. It's a big, giant lawn party.
Yep.
And she doesn't know anybody, but she's going with her friend. So her friend goes, and they're in the house first. They walk in the house, and they get there like a little bit late. They're in the house, and she's a room full of people. She goes, and she goes, attention, attention. And they look at her, and she goes, just to let you know, I'm going to bed in about a half an hour. Then her friend starts dying. She's like, you have to do that outside. So she goes out, and there's like a terrace, and then there's 200 people in the yard, and she takes the megaphone. She goes, excuse me, and everybody quiets down. She goes, just letting everybody know, I'm going to bed in half an hour. I love that story.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I got a couple of friends who should never hear that story because
Okay.
they will keep doing it
Fair
over
enough.
and over.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
That's what editing is for.
Cut that out, future Connor. No, it's probably
Future
staying.
Connor.
It's probably staying.
Okay,
in. But no, I have a lot of friends who are notorious for like the Irish goodbye and everything.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, hey, wait, where did this person go? I was like, they probably left.
See, I've solved that. I just don't go anywhere. If you don't go anywhere, you don't have to Irish goodbye anything.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Again, don't tell my friends that. Guys, I'm looking at you right now. And you know who you are. But no, that's hilarious. And I love that. But, as we're talking about kind of the ins and outs and the ideas behind Home From Here, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Home From Here, of course, we've kind of alluded to a lot of things. It's fun. It's authentic. Sometimes people cry. It's all over the place. But what was the whole point of starting this podcast in the first place?
So I got pretty mentally ill, suicidal, and I was looking at 350 years in jail at one point, and was prescribed 7 different medications. And when you're in the system, not all the doctors talk to each other. Yeah. So one doctor will prescribe you something, not knowing that you're taking something else, and there's no one comprehensive chart. And so these medications are counterindicating. And one of the prescriptions that I was on was lithium, and it turns out, lithium in and of itself is no joke. Yeah. But
when paired with a million other things,
if you're me, and for some people, this is true, you can become lithium toxic, which means it turns to poison when your body processes it. So the drug that I'm taking not to kill myself is actually killing me. So I realized this, and I'm like, I'm just going to have to go cold turkey off of everything, and because it's going to kill me. I tell my whole life, everybody in my life is like, you're crazy. And I'm like, yes, but I can't keep taking this stuff. Now, at the time, I'm facing 350 years in jail. So the plan was to detox, spend a summer with my daughter, and then take my life when she went back to school. And she's 7 years old. She stayed with me.
Wow.
Yeah, she stayed with me every day. And detox was tough, man. Because I went cold turkey. So I'm going through a towel every 15 minutes. I'm not eating. I'm not walking. I'm not showering. She stayed with me. She would walk me outside. She would tell me to go shower. She would make me peanut butter sandwiches till they were blue in the face.
7 years old.
7 years old.
Wow.
So, she would get on the phone with people I know and say, you got to come visit him. You have to. And she got me through it. So I get to the end of that summer, and I'm clean now, but I'm going to take my life, because who wants to drag themselves or their family through 350 years in jail?
Yeah.
So I go down to the water. It's 2 days before I'm going to do it, and I don't know who or what this was, but something spoke to me and said, if you take your life, the biggest lesson your daughter's going to get out of her life is anything she loves is going to fail.
Wow.
So, see, here we go. I'm crying. So
I'll grab the box of tissues.
So I'm down there, and I'm like, I got to live now.
Yeah.
So I wound up finding alternative ways to. I consider it a chronic condition. I think I have it every single day, but I manage it every single day, and I do things like I get up at like 3 a.m. I handwrite 3 pages. I work out 2 hours a day. I make good decisions that day, and then tomorrow I get up with the same assumption: I'm crazy, but this is how I'm gonna manage it. So, but that's an alternative path. Most people, drugs, therapy, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So it dawned on me, like, well, maybe I'm not the only one in a room who needs an alternative path, for whom traditional therapy isn't working, pharmacology is not working. So I did an interview about. So on another podcast, somebody interviewed me. Allison Chalik gave me my start. Thank you so much, Allison. That station saw, like, hey, there's a show in here. Would you like to blah blah? And I started doing it. And the idea is to explore mental health really candidly, but without fear. So, like, I use the word crazy all the time. I get a lot of pushback on me using the word crazy. But to me, if you're afraid to say it, you're afraid to be it. And if you're afraid to be it, you can't beat it. So
I always use the expression, Jimmy Buffett's song, if we weren't all crazy, we would just go insane.
There you go. Yeah. And I joke about I joke about mental health because if you're afraid to joke, the biggest power that mental illness has over anybody is fear. You have a broken leg, you figure out, okay, I can limp on the other leg. You have you have a physical disease, you figure I can take it. When you're really mentally ill, it's so comprehensive that you're just afraid of it, and that's how it wins. It's insidious. That's how it wins. So my thought was to, let's joke about it. Let's just not be afraid of it, and then see what happens. Now, and now, like, I can at least say to my own head, I know what you are. And like because I have bad days, but when I have a bad day, I now, because I can joke about it and talk about it and do big shows like yours about it, I can sit and say, when I don't actually hear voices, but when I have like a thought that isn't a healthy thought, I can go now and go, I know what you are, and I can go on my show and joke about you, and you have some power, but I'm not afraid of you. Yeah. And now let's go.
I'm in control here. I'm in the driver's seat.
Right.
No, one of the greatest things that one of my voice teachers back in college, Marta Waterman. Marta, if you're watching, love you, miss you, hope you're doing good.
Hey, Marta.
Yeah, she told me and this was before I started therapy, she was telling me how, when I felt overwhelmed with all those evil, bad voices that are coming at you and just weighing you down, that inner voice that is relentless. Listen to it for a second. She said, find a room, find a space, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever. Talk it out, release all of it, whether you're writing, whether you're singing, whether you're typing, whether you're verbally speaking, all of it. She said, let it all out until there's nothing left to say. And even in those moments when you feel like you'll keep going forever, there will be an end. And when you finally get to that end, take a breath and say, thank you, but I don't need you.
That's it. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, wrestle it. Don't, because the sickness grows when you don't wrestle it.
Exactly.
Right. The sickness gets confidence. It gets authority, and you're giving it confidence and authority by not addressing it.
That is a great way to explain that. I've never heard that exact term for it, giving it confidence, giving the mental illness confidence. That's very interesting. I really like that perspective and that thought. So with that, you have, over 200 episodes now, I think?
We just did 226 yesterday. Yeah.
God bless.
Thanks.
Very good. That is so cool. So what do you get from, or what should I say, what's the reactions that you get from people who are on your show, those who do cry, those who do say things that they never told anybody else or never expected to say? How do they come back to you, like when the mic stops and they're like, what did I just do? What is that all like?
So I have a one sheet that I give out before the show.
Yeah.
And the agreement is I don't edit. So if you tell me that there's a body in the back of your car, it's not coming out. You know this up front, but it's not coming out. And still, the overwhelming reaction is, can you edit that part out where I said that? And I don't do it. But the other thing that it has done, it has given me like a ton. I'm way too close to way too many people because of the show. Because when you sit like you and I are friends.
Yeah.
Like you and I have been in each other's presence 12 hours total, counting the Lifting Project.
Yeah, we've probably spent more time like messaging each other than we have in person.
Right. But you've done the show. I know probably more about you from the show than a lot of your acquaintances do.
Yeah, I would say like definitely a lot more than the guests that come through, even the guests that I'm like used to and have multiple times.
So,
absolutely.
So what winds up happening is I wind up getting intimate with people, like real intimate, real fast.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like a weird buzz too, because I just sat in a room with you for like 3 hours, and I had a husband and wife duo come on. They're musicians, and they came on to sing and just talk and just talk. We're about 45 minutes in, and she goes, "I have not told people this, but last year, people who know me know, but the public doesn't know. Last year, we walked in my son's room. He was 17, and he had taken his own life, and it's destroying my marriage." With the husband sitting
with the husband right there. Yeah.
So then you go through like another 2 hours of Holy Christmas Eve. What is that?
You're going through couples therapy on that one. Oh my gosh.
Well, and therapy, and just sharing, because I thought it was a remarkably brave thing to do on a show. So now we're done. Now we're like three. I think that was like 3.5. We're like 3.5 hours. We're done. But you people have just told me like the single most remarkable, intimate thing of your lives, including telling me that your marriage is struggling because of it. And I get it. Mine would too. And I can't just show you out the door.
No. Yeah. What do you do after that? It's like, so same time next week?
Yeah. Right. I'm very happy about it, but it's just a very weird dynamic to get so close to a lot of people so fast.
Yeah.
Because they're telling you their guts.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way over here. I don't think we get nearly as deep as you do on your show, but I do
That's
get
to. You're not as crazy as me. Okay.
But I think it's just the level of the formatting. You go for hours. I keep most interviews to like 45 minutes. Yeah. So, but besides that, though, I will say being able to have a platform like ours, it's incredible for the sake of when you just meet somebody. Let's say you go to a banquet or a party or a community event. Dutchess Chamber of Commerce just had their gala. Take that for example. You go and meet somebody there. You shake their hand. It's a very I don't want to say shallow conversation for the most part.
It's party talk, though.
It's party talk. It's small talk.
Yeah.
It's small talk. That's what it is. But when you get, let's say, change things up. the first time you ever meet that person, instead of at one of those parties, at one of those galas, is for a microphone, it strips away a lot of the inhibitions behind it of having that conversation. How much do you say? How much do you not say? Kind of along the lines of what you're saying. It's like, will I come off crazy or whatever? It strips it all back, and it allows people to be their more authentic selves. I've found, and trust me, I have done this with many people, say at one of those parties or you're meeting somebody on the street or whatever, and you ask the question, hey, what are you passionate about?
Right.
They're going to kind of be like taken off guard. And it's like, I don't know. And they'll stumble over it. I asked that same question in front of a microphone, and there is a certain level of confidence, not just a level of confidence. A wall has already been broken down just for the sake of doing this as a platform or giving them the platform to talk about it. So I think that's
they're here to talk.
Exactly.
When you put a microphone, like we've set our intentions. There's microphones here. We're gonna go.
Very often, we really are online therapists, and cheers to that. Cheers to being the online therapist.
I'm not a good one, but cheers to it.
I know, but it's just kind of funny how that all works out. So actually, I think this is a really good segue into the Lifted Project now.
Okay.
You've given your backstory on starting the Home From Here podcast. The Home From Here podcast was first, and it was through a lot of the people that you met along the way through that helped inspire you, along with a number of other things. So this is the second year that the Lifted Project is happening. Last year, it was done at Dutchess Regional Airport, which that was amazing and just a really cool experience to do it there. But now it's at the Center for Performing Arts at Rhinebeck, and that's going to be April 6th. Really excited for it. Thank you again for having me. I'm excited to be a part of it. But let's bring it back 2 years, maybe even longer. However, whenever the idea first came to you, where did this all start to do the Lifted Project?
This is where somebody cries on your show. You ready? Oh, thank you very much. So I'm married.
Yes.
My wife gets head and neck cancer.
Yeah.
And it's a giant tumor in her cheek, and she goes to her, and she's very close with her dentist. And dentist takes one look. She's in surgery 45 minutes later for a biopsy. Surgeon comes out and says, look, my job is to take a piece of this thing, but I know what I'm looking at. Tell me to go long, and I'll go long. And he took a two-inch tumor out of her cheek.
Oh, my God.
Then we go to the oncologist. The oncologist is like, it's go time. We're going to have to, I'm going to have to take your head off. And they did. She called herself a Pez dispenser because they literally cut her head from one side to the other. Her joke, not mine. Took out 15 lymph nodes, took a patch of skin the size of a Post-it from her thigh and sewed it into the inside of her cheek. And she went through this horrible surgery. She gets done with the surgery, and they determine now you need chemo and radiation. And for her type of cancer, this chemo and radiation is barbaric. The chemo's chemo, it's horrible. But the radiation, they make a mask that fits your face, they strap you down on a table, and they basically burn your face for 20 minutes every day. To the point where there's ash on the pillow every night, to the point where she can't talk, she can't eat, she can't whatever. Yeah. Sorry, here we go, I'm crying. So we go, thank you. We go through this whole thing. And I'm the primary caregiver, and I'm a guitar player. I'm not a caregiver. So
same. That was me a number of times.
And I'm keeping track, and I have lovely friends who help me through this. But you get through it, and you get to the last day, which is a story I'll tell you. The last day was incredible. So we get to the last day, and they just send you home. She's bald in the back half of her head. Yeah. Her mouth is so swollen. Like, she really looks like Elephant Man. Like, her mouth is so swollen. She can't walk. She can barely drink a shake, and they just send you home. And you're like, now what? And you're like, this is your jam. Go figure it out. Yeah. So she sits in a chair for a month, like almost a full month, not being able to do anything. So now it's a late afternoon. It's an afternoon in late January, and I'm like, I got to get you up. I got to get you outside. So it's a clear day. So I get up, I put a winter coat on her. It's too heavy. She falls down. I put a blanket on her. We go outside, and she gets out from the roof of the house, and I see her tipping her head like this. And I'm like, normally that means there's something wrong. I'm like, we got to turn around. But she was just remembering the sun. She hadn't felt the sun in so long that she's just remembering the sun. We get like 15 steps that day. We go back in. We do 15 steps a day for 3 days. Then we do 20. Then I get her to the mailbox. Then I get her to the house next door. Then I get her 2 houses down. But at that point, we kind of stall out. And, she's eating or whatever. Now, I told you one of the things I do to manage my own mental health is I work out for 2 hours a day. Mm-hmm. So I work out at this amazing place with it's just full of angels. It's not a gym. It's heaven. And one of my friends there is a trainer who teaches these classes. So I go to her. But Trish isn't. When I say walking, she's not walking. She's kind of shuffling.
It's the hobble and everything. Yeah, it's tough.
So I go to my friend. I go, what if could I bring Trish to the back of your class? Because Trish used to work out there before, and she can just kind of shuffle. I'll hold her up, and she'll just shuffle with me. Yeah. And my friend says, "Sure, bring her in here." So now I'm crying. So I bring her into the back of the class, and she's got the huge sunglasses on. She's got the baseball cap on because she's bald in the back, and she's got 2 scars wrapped around her neck. And she's in the back of the class, and people are trying not to look. And we start doing the class. And my friend, do we curse on the show?
Go for it.
Okay. My friend's up front, and she looks at Trish, and she's like, "Look at that." She goes back, gets Trish, shuffles her to the front of class, turns her around, makes her face the whole class, and shuffles the whole class with Trish while everybody else is lifting weights and doing cardio and just does the whole class with Trish.
Wow.
And everybody's floored. So we go back down to the car, and Trish goes to me, "Do you think we could ever do that again?" At the same time, my phone rings, and it's my friend saying, "Get her ass in here tomorrow." My friend spends the next 4 months every day, not paid, not assigned by her boss, not just out of love, working with Trish every day. One day, she has a class, and she partners with Trish. One day, about 2 weeks in, you know what a box jump is?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a 2-foot box jump you have to do in this class. And Trish she's got neuropathy. She can't do 2 inches. So we get a 3-inch platform, and she trips over it, and she falls. She's crying. My friend throws her body over Trish. They go forehead to forehead. They talk. I don't know what they said. But Trish gets up and wipes her nose and starts lifting weights again. At the end of that class, my friend takes Trish over to the 2-foot box jump and says, "We go every day, Thanksgiving Day, we go every day until you jump on this box." And Trish is like, I'm going for a walk again, and you're making me jump. But they did. Every day. They did every single day. So now Trish can step up on a 6-inch block, and now she can jump up on a 1-foot block. So one day, and now the story's starting to get attention. Newsweek magazine comes and covers it, and the Today Show covers it, because it's an alternative physical therapy. Much like my mental therapy was alternative, this is like an alternative physical therapy. And one day, Trish is standing in front of the 2-foot block, and she puts 1 foot on it, and she can get like a foot on it and down, and a foot on it and down, right?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So my friend walks over. They go forehead to forehead, and this time I can hear it. And now they've been together 4 months. They love each other. Trish trusts her. She is making Trish do things that Trish never thought she was going to be able to do again. She made Trish go to a party. She made Trish buy a new dress. She took Trish for a haircut. And they're forehead to forehead. I'll never forget. And my friend goes, "You can do this today. You are a feather. You can fly. You can do this today." And just steps back. Wow. And there's a circle of like 30 people around her. And I'm standing there, and she looks at me, and I'm like, my job is catch you. I don't know what. And then she looks at my friend, and my friend is just like, "It's time to go." She jumps on the box. Everybody floored. And it was the single most beautiful thing. It was more beautiful than the birth of my daughter, because the birth of my daughter was going to happen whether anybody wanted it to or not. This combination of love and joy and lifting without any agenda. No agenda. Got nothing out of it. Just did it because my friend's a beautiful person. So I do what any good husband does. I go home and I start watching TV. And I see the We Are the World documentary. And I'm like, "Hey, dummy, you from the show, you know a lot of music. I'm going to tell the Connor story too. You know a lot of musicians. You could probably do this. You could probably, and you could get some nonprofit partners, and you could probably do this." And so I so first I went to Karen Catalano, the producer, and I said, "Hey, I can write music, but I don't know how to move a person from one place to another." Karen instantly said yes. Was in from the get. Then I went to Paula at Paula's Runway Cafe. I don't think I finished saying I'm looking for a space, and she's like, "Yeah, absolutely, let's go." So she did it. I invited 38 musicians, and I said, "Okay, here's the premise. you can't rehearse. We're going to sing a song. I'll give you a demo, but you can't rehearse it. We can't meet. We can't even. We're going to sing a song. And 38 musicians say yes, like within 2 hours. And I'm like, this is bad. This is bad.
Now you actually have to do it.
Right. Now I have to write the song. And I will tell the Connor story. So we're doing, and you were kind enough, we're doing promo for it. And you were kind enough to have me on to talk about it. And I was like, and so before you wrote about it, I checked out, like, oh, what's his name? And I'm like, holy, this guy can sing. This guy's good. You and I disagree. The show was on a Sunday. My story is I asked you on Saturday.
I thought it was Friday.
You think it's Friday?
I thought it was Friday.
I almost know it's Saturday.
Either way, it was like the weekend.
It was the
weekend of.
And I'm like, hey, buddy, thank you for covering it, but you have pipes. Any chance you want to join? And you, generous musician, said, yeah, I'll be there tomorrow.
Yep. I got there late, but I did get there.
You got there, and it was so great. So we get there, and the premise is we perform a song until it's ready to record. We can't rehearse, and so and we did. And I'll never forget. So the first run through of the song, my wife is sitting in the front row because she's sitting behind me. I'm conducting, and we do the song the first time. It was, what's a polite way? It was not ideal. And I turn around, and Trish looks at me, and she's like, mother effer, are we going to have to move out of the state? Because this is...
There was a lot of people there. Hard to show your face.
Sold out an airport, and every single musician you know is up there looking at you, too. Like, what are we doing?
Yep.
But we did it. We did it 4 times, and by the 4th time, we kind of had it.
Yeah.
So then there was some space for the audience. Took an intermission, and they went and met our nonprofit partners. And then we came back, and we did it the 5th time, and you guys crushed it the 5th time. And I look at the producer, and he's like, we're good. I'm like,
Eric Dalton,
good
Dalton.
Friend. Yeah, man,
Yep.
Go Eric. And I'm like, but we're not perfect yet because I want to do something, but I can't do it until the choir's a little bit pissed at me. So I'm like, because you are a soloist, you can carry a room for 2 hours on your own.
Yeah.
So singing in a choir in and of itself is a compromise for you.
Unfortunately, I've had a lot of good choir experience ahead of time, but yes, in the regard to soloists, yes.
now I got 38 Connors who can all carry a room by themselves. They've all done the song like 5 times. It came out right. It's Sunday afternoon. Let's go get a beer and let's get out of here. But I'm like, I can't because I wanted to do it I wanted to get the room to where the room was so hot that like because people like you are like wild horses. Like you can kind of put you in a corral musically for a while.
Yeah.
But eventually you're going to do your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what would happen if I got this room to the point where they're all like, F this, I want to do my own thing. And so we did it 3 more times, and I just got this vibe. I'm like, everybody's annoyed. This is perfect.
Everybody's ready.
Everybody. So I'm like, okay, this time the audience, by now the audience knows the song. So I said to the audience, I'm like, you guys do the call and answer part.
Yep.
And choir, just get up and get on a microphone and do whatever you want to do. And it was 11 minutes of the most amazing, it was the most amazing space of just seeing artists going off and audience members going off and cancer patients dancing, and no money changes hands. But we lifted the room. The room was different. The air was different. The people were different. It was incredible. And so, and when it was over, we're all standing there looking at each other like, what was that? And so that was last year. And then a couple months passed, and we got, thanks to you, we got some positive feedback and coverage.
Thanks to many people. Well, I'm just one of many.
Well, thank you. You started it. And so I go to my wife. I'm like, am I crazy to try this again? And she goes, you were crazy to try it the first time.
Yeah.
But it kind of became a thing. So now it's an annual thing.
That's amazing. That's terrific. And of course, new venue and everything with the Center for Performing Arts at Rhinebeck. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Thank you guys very much.
That is so cool to be on that stage, to be able to have everybody in those seats.
Oh, it's wild.
That is so cool.
Because when you did the first one, people were in folding chairs or lounge chairs, and it weren't rows. And
it wasn't bad.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
It was fantastic for what it was. But now we're having professional. There's a lighting scheme.
Yeah.
There's a stage plot. There's a sound system. Because Eric last year just lent us everything. Now there's there's actually a trap door in the stage.
Yep.
And Karen's like, John, you got to come up through the trap door. And I'm like, I can curse.
Again, go ahead.
I'm like, Karen, I'm just not that big an asshole to go up through a trapdoor.
Nah, man. We
No,
still got
John.
time. I want it to happen.
No, John, you are a big enough asshole. You can.
I want it to happen. I will pay money. I will make this happen.
And we're having a children's choir this year.
Yep.
We're having a guitar symphony. We're doing a new song, and then we're doing "Won't Be Broken Again" as a finale. And our nonprofit partners this year are Thank, which is the Thyroid Head and Neck Cancer Foundation. Go figure. James's Warriors, which
You're on the board for now, right?
yeah.
Yep.
That's the funniest. I've been on a board of a few. That's the funniest nonprofit I've ever been on.
Funny enough, actually, today is Tuesday, the day right before Donna's episode is going to air.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Hi, Donna. Donna and I've gotten pretty close too.
Oh, she talks about you in the episode.
Oh, she does? Oh, no.
I'm going to keep my mouth zipped and let you experience it
okay.
later.
All right.
No, you're fine. All
okay.
positive.
Thank you, man. And then Hudson River Housing.
Yes.
And Earth Angels Believe, which is so Hudson River Housing has built I don't know if they've built over 1,800 homes.
Yeah.
For people experiencing homelessness.
They're incredible.
That's a town.
Yeah.
1,800 homes is a town, and Earth Angels Believe is they work on a much more intimate scale. If you're somebody in your family has cancer, and you're short $200 for groceries, they give you the $200 for groceries. Somebody you don't have gas to get the treatment, they give you that. But having been in the stew of that $200 is $200 million
it makes a difference.
Yeah,
it makes a big difference.
So yeah,
absolutely, and I think that's very impressive. So for those who are interested in learning more about this year's Lifted Project, whether it's getting tickets to attend the event, or they're looking to learn more about the organizations that this is benefiting, where can people go to find more info on that?
Go to liftedporject.org. There's so the Lifted Project itself takes no money. We will never accept a dime for anything. So but each of the nonprofits has been allocated a number of seats, and there's 4 different links, and you can buy a seat. They're $25. We use a system called Zephy, so that all $25 goes. There's not even like a commission on top. That goes to the program that sells the tickets. So their 4 links are there, and and you can get these. I would advise, we sold out the airport the last time, and that's before anybody knew what we were doing. So now, I would go sooner rather than later.
Oh shoot, I need to get a ticket for my girlfriend. Obviously, I'm going to be there, but I need something for her.
Well, that's yeah.
She'll be real mad at me. Is like, you made me stand this entire time. She'll love it. She'll find it be beautiful, but she'll be like, didn't get me a seat, Connor.
And yeah, you do need to do that. And it's tricky too, because last time we were in an airport, so I could kind of people could wander in and go hide in a corner. This is a theater, you kind of can't. So there's limited. I mean, it's a big theater, but
it's nice.
Yeah, but we so we have to kind of be a little bit more strict about having people wander in. So
no, absolutely.
Get your tickets now, please.
Yeah, get your tickets now. I will say though, the backdrop of a airport was pretty cool last year. I thought that was such a unique and interesting way of going about it. And also, come on, the name, the Lifted Project, and you're at an airport.
Yeah,
is that just
it's so
chef's kiss.
Thank you. It's so funny. Have you ever had this experience where you do something and everything just kind of works?
Yes.
So that's what the Lifted Project last year was. There you go. Everything just kind of worked. Like a day before we didn't have risers, all of a sudden, and I'm like, risers will happen. All of a sudden, the day before, somebody writes and says, "Hey, I can get us risers." Yeah. Everything, including being at the airport and it being the Lifted Project. There's a good and bad side to everything working, though. The good side is what a great day we had, right? Mm-hmm. The bad side is now John Burton's convinced it's just going to work. So
there's the high expectations. It's it's happened already. It can happen again. Or now it's we got X, so now let's get Y and Z on top of it. And so you have all of that. Honestly, it's go for it. Shoot for the moon.
Yeah.
And, it's such a positive thing to be able to see everybody come together. And I'll say this, a number of the musicians who were there, I've seen perform in years past, or I've heard of them to various degrees, but I never had a personal connection with them. I never actually knew them prior. But in the last year, I have been on the bill with several of these
Fantastic.
artists. I have gone to shows where these artists are. Sometimes we're just both in the crowd together supporting somebody else. But it's just funny that we look at each other and we'll be like, Lifted Project. and we'll see and we'll hug.
That's
and
funny.
we'll talk for a second. And it was just kind of like how we were talking about how both of our shows break down those walls and barriers when it comes to having those conversations and being intimate with somebody. being a part of the Lifted Project, has also done the same exact thing.
That's because my theory on that is I have two thoughts about that. One is you can't do that very many places in the world. The Hudson Valley is a very different place in terms of the level of musician. You can't pick up the phone, meet a Connor Walsh 90 minutes ago and go, oh, hey, I just had an idea, and have a Connor Walsh say, yeah, I'll go risk looking like a tool in front of an airport full of people.
Come on,
And
I'm always a tool. I'm always a tool.
And by the way, can I hear the song? Like you can't do that very many other places. So I think the level of talent, you're all attracted to each other because you all operate at just like a very different level than other places in the world for sure. And then the second thing is, you all took a pretty big risk. Like coming there, nobody'd seen me conduct before. I conducted in college. Nobody, nobody'd heard the band. Nobody'd heard. You all just took a big risk and just said, "I'm just gonna."
Kind of trusted the whole thing. It was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Right. But when you go through that kind of trauma with somebody, you learn. You get warm in a different crowd.
Yeah. Oh my God, shared trauma is like the best way of just coming together real
fast. Bring everybody together.
Absolutely. Well, that's why they say, workspace friendships work so well because there's like a typical common enemy or a common just overall feeling that you're all able to commiserate together with.
Sure.
But honestly, I don't think there was really anything to commiserate with in regards to this. I think there was a lot to celebrate.
Yeah, at the end of it. But at the end of it, it worked out. But after that first run, I'm like, I looked around and all y'all are staring at me like, dude, am I ever going to be able to sing in public again? Or did you just destroy me? And I'm like,
it was the first run.
Right.
Actually, I only came in for like the last few seconds of that first run, so I really didn't hear it.
Oh, okay.
That was like when I walked through the door and Karen was like, Connor, you're here. Okay, put you here. And
what's so funny too is, so we had it videoed and we did a video.
Yep.
And we had a photographer. We'll do that again. We had a photographer do that again. And this is how old I am. So there's this picture of you.
Okay.
It's in I think it's on the first page of the website. It's a whole choir.
I've seen a couple pictures of me.
You're on the edge of you're on the edge of the choir, right?
Yeah.
And you're on your phone. You're looking at the phone. This is how old I am. I'm like, is he texting during the song? and then finally it dawns on me like, no, dummy, he's reading the words.
Yes. No, I'm reading the words on my phone. Absolutely.
But it took me like, is Connor Walsh actually texting during my song?
It's like, God, I'm never inviting him to anything else ever again.
Or maybe he's just that good that he could do it. I'll be home for dinner. Well, we won't be broken. Yep. What do you want me to bring home? Yep. Maybe he can do that.
Nope. I was just looking at the song.
Yeah,
that's all I was doing. Oh, that's hilarious. But trust me, I would give you way more respect than that.
No, it's not even that. I'm like, is my song that bad? Did he?
No, I really liked it. And the demo that you sent me was very clear cut. I was able to work with it, of course.
And a nightmare, man.
I'm sure it was a nightmare to create because I've making demos myself. It's always a nightmare to create.
Here's why it was a particular nightmare.
All right.
I've only in the last few months come to like the sound of my own voice a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
When you record a demo and you're sending it to 38 Connor Walshes, it's not like I'm sending it to like John Q. Public. I'm sending it to 38 Connor Walshes, and that's bad, right? Here's what's worse: when you go to a studio with Eric Dalton, who generously donated making the demo and doing the final, and he says, "I have an idea." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Well, it's a choir, right?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Let's record you 16 different times singing the same thing. And I'm just going to pile you on you."
Yep.
If you don't like the sound of your voice one time,
you're not going to like it 16 times.
God.
I feel that my track, That First Step, 32 me. There's 32 tracks of me on that.
But do you like the sound of your own voice?
It's taken me a very long time to get used to it. I don't know if I would say I like the sound of my voice, but I'm used to it better.
Okay.
I'll admit, I was actually working on a demo yesterday, and I hated how the whole process was going. I had to step away from it because I just wasn't feeling it in the moment. It was like, all right, this is just like one of my bad mental health days where like my head's not in it. Let me step away from it, breathe, and then I'll come back to it later. But I am a lot more used to my voice. Whether I like it or not, I'm like, all right, this is what I got to work with, and I know the best way I can work with it.
And your voice matches your writing style.
Well, I've kind of...
Or is it the other way around? Okay.
It wasn't always.
All right.
If I had it my way, I would be singing like Foreigner and Journey and
really?
all of them, because that's what I grew up on, Bon Jovi. If I had it my way, I'd be singing exactly like that, but I can't. And I realized it's like, okay, I can't write that music, but what kind of music can I do? And that's a part of finding your own voice. And I think through that, I've been able to channel something that's authentic to me,
which
at
is
the same
better.
Time.
It's better than being another hairband.
Yeah.
I can listen to Bon Jovi. I want to hear Connor when Connor sings.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Now there is a very Connor kind of style now, but even when I experiment with more R&B or more country or one thing or the other, there's still kind of a Connor style I always find that gets thrown in there, and that's fine. But also at the same time, that helps open things up for collaboration as well.
Sure.
Because it's like, all right, I know I can't do this, so I need somebody else to come in here and do it with me.
Right.
And then we can finally fully do and capture the vision of all this. Kind of very much like bringing all these musicians in for the Lifted Porject.
I have good news for you.
Okay.
I got a couple years on you. At some point.
I thought you're like 30, right?
I'm like 30 times 2. At some point, your voice is going to get this rasp. Mm-hmm. It's inevitable.
I can't wait for it, actually.
Once your voice gets the rasp, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sing, like, now I can sing, like, any style. I never used to be able to, like, sing country. I wouldn't sing rock because it's just not my jam, but now I can, and it sounds all right because I got the rasp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to that personally,
Yeah.
because honestly, I've gone in front of the microphone and I want to, like, have some kind of edge to my voice.
Yep.
But I like...
Time will do that for you.
I'm sorry, like... I'm Disney Channel. I sound like Disney Channel. I know that I do.
That's a little harsh.
I know that I do. A couple of my songs are specifically sounding like Disney theater songs. I know they do.
Well, how about you're just very well produced?
We'll go with that.
Okay,
we'll go
thank
with that. But no, I think that's just a big thing for any kind of musician, to be able to find your voice, find your style, whatever that might be. I think my voice and my style match because, I've spent like 10, 15 years trying to figure out what the hell that is.
Yeah.
And, I'm still on the younger side. I'm only 27. So, and there's still people who spend their whole lives trying to find that.
Yeah. I only got it last year. I had my friend Cher, she's you know her, Sherilyn Ann, she's Jungle Love. We're talking on the show, and I'm like, I'm never going to take singing lessons, even though you're the best vocal coach in the world. I just don't have time. So just tell me what to do in one sentence. And she goes, just sing like you talk. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, wait, use that voice? And and in the last 6 months, now all of a sudden, like, where never, like, it was, when I would play before, it would always be like, oh, your right hand's a party trick, and that's fun, and you can, you don't strum, and you sound a lot like James Taylor.
Love James Taylor, though.
Yeah,
He's one of my
but it
favorites.
wasn't me. I did James Taylor. I worship, but he almost ruined me because I used to do this thing called Evening with James Taylor.
Okay.
And I would do like 20 James Taylor songs. But when you do that enough, you wind up just starting to sound like James Taylor, which is great, except I'm not James Taylor, so I can't sound as good as James Taylor. So now I'm a James Taylor knockoff. And I'm also not John Burton, like when she said that, she said, use the voice that you talk with to actually sing. And I'm like, oh, and then the rasp came, and then
you got it all together.
Kind of came together.
By the way, I don't do a James Taylor set, but I do have a whole Jimmy Buffett set that I like to do.
That makes sense. I bet your Jimmy Buffett set is good.
I bet
that's good.
I got a really fun Jimmy Buffett set. Actually, the first time I ever did the Jimmy Buffett set was a Walsh Wednesday during the pandemic.
Oh, cool.
It was, at that point, that was before I started the Reflective series. That was when I was just doing live streaming just every Wednesday. And I was like, I'm just going to have some fun with this. Let me do like a Walsh Wednesday theme one. And so many people have made fun of me for being a Jimmy Buffett fan all over the years. But I posted, it was like, does anybody have any requests? And floods of requests came through. And I'm like, y'all been making fun of me for how many years? And you're throwing in some like really off the beaten path stuff.
Deep cuts?
Deep cuts. It was like, I was surprised somebody sent me in, it's midnight and I'm not famous yet. And I was like, only a real Jimmy Buffett fan
I don't even know that
knows
song.
that song. Yeah. And it was like, I was surprised. Like, it was more than just simply Margaritaville, Cheeseburger in Paradise, and Come Monday.
Right.
Like, we were getting like,
that's cool though.
It's the nuts and bolts
What's
of
your
it.
favorite Jimmy Buffett song?
That is tough. I don't know if I can give you just one, but I think I could give you 5.
Okay.
5.
I can eat Cheeseburger in Paradise.
No, I'm not even going to name that one right now. Yeah, trust me, I'd love to play it.
Okay.
But like when we're talking like my favorite Jimmy Buffett songs, most of them are going to be deep cuts. Most of them are going to be deep cuts. Tonight I Just Need My Guitar.
Never heard of it.
Phenomenal song. It was I think he released that in like the 2010s.
Okay.
Tonight I Just Need My Guitar. Beautiful, beautiful song. Then you have Death of an Unpopular Poet. Have you ever heard that one?
Never heard that one either.
I think you would appreciate that as a songwriter because it's about this poet. It's a true story about a poet who passes away before his stuff becomes huge.
Oh,
And
cool.
it's a really, really beautiful song. Then there's It's My Job, written by his, again, you don't know it. It's his longtime collaborator, Mac McAnally, who wrote it.
Okay.
But Jimmy Buffett then covered it and sold tons more copies than Mac could, unfortunately. But so there's that. This might be a bit of a hot take, but it was his last single, Bubbles Up. The very last single that he produced, actually posthumously.
Okay.
It came out right after he passed, and it's kind of like one of the best send-offs that he could have given
wow.
his fans.
Okay.
And because he knew he was dying. He knew he was dying and everything. And this, just such a beautiful, beautiful song. And Paul McCartney even said, is like, this is the best Jimmy Buffett song there is. And like, this is the best sound that he ever had.
Very cool.
And then on his last album that came out when he was alive, not posthumously, the last album that came out when he was alive, Book on the Shelf. And again, he knew that this was at a time where he knew he was dying. And the song is about pretty much going back across his life, all the things that he's done. And I'm not ready to put this book on the shelf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And those would be my top 5 Jimmy Buffett songs.
I
And again, nobody in the regular mainstream pop culture have heard them.
I haven't, but I will now.
Yeah, no, I highly recommend them and everything. Actually, I had a boss who made fun of me for liking Jimmy Buffett so much. And I said to him, and I gave him a list of 10 songs that, nobody would have ever heard of unless you're a deep Jimmy Buffett fan. And I says, like, listen to these 10 songs and tell me what you think. And he begrudgingly came back to me and was like, yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
No, so it's like, I get it. Jimmy Buffett's not for everybody, but also at the same time, he's fun.
I was
He's
about
so
to say,
much
yeah,
fun.
man, if you can take a guitar and give people a good time, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, and also I have like 20 Hawaiian shirts too, so like
I was going to say,
Yeah.
the shirts are you, so that works.
yeah, I have them. Well, I showed up to the first Lifted Project in like this tie-dye floral looking polo and everything.
What are you wearing this time?
Oh, I'm not sure yet. We'll see.
all
I kind of just figured that out the day of, so I'll probably do the same thing.
Right.
But we'll be we'll figure that out. No dress code, right? You're all, however,
Come as you will.
like the colors of a rainbow. Everybody out there.
Just be yourself. It's so funny. I had a conductor on the show to teach me to conduct, and I show him
What? Because you were embarrassed about the first Lifted Project
no.
or something?
Well, no.
You were great.
Thank you.
Not conventional, but you did exactly what we needed.
That's been my argument all along. I got 38 soloists in front of me.
Yep.
You're going to do what you're going to do anyway.
Yeah.
The only important thing is that we start at the same time and stop at the same time. You don't want that one voice at the end going, well, people. Oh, sorry.
Yep.
If you and the rest is just keep time. And what was funny at the last Lifted Project was because we were in an airport, we were at opposite ends of the airport.
Yes.
So the band couldn't hear. You guys could hear the band because we had monitors, but they couldn't hear you.
No.
So I'm conducting the band with my left hand, the choir with my right hand, and finally I'm like, I'm just gonna dance, and we'll see what goes on.
And it worked. You were great. I would say if you're trying to do like a professional choir, professional orchestra, it's probably better to actually know how to really conduct. But at least in my experience, because I've definitely conducted a number of groups, rock bands, small choral groups or whatever, as long as you can give them the like where to enter, give them
It's the only thing that matters.
You don't have to be perfect and do I'm still screwing it up and everything, but
Right.
like I've taken the conducting courses. You don't have to do all that. You just got to make sure that the people you're working with understand what you're doing.
And the idea for the Lifted Project anyway, the idea is we haven't rehearsed, so what's the point of a conductor?
Yeah.
You guys don't even know the song. So it's built on the backs of your guys' talent.
See, this is a great sell for the Lifted Project. They don't even know the song.
Right. That should be the tagline. I'm going to take We Won't Be Broken If We Lift Each Other out of the bottom of the logo. And there's a Lifted Project, we don't know the song.
Exactly. Best tagline,
There you
best
go.
marketing. That's all that you need. But of course, John, this has been an absolute pleasure having
thanks,
you
man.
on, of course. And
I took you long, too.
how long was this? It didn't feel all that long.
You're on an hour.
Oh, Jesus.
You did it.
We did it.
You broke the ice.
We broke an hour. We'll see where it goes with editing. There might
Oh, that's
get
right,
it,
okay.
but we'll see. Who am I pairing you up with? Oh, yeah, this is going to be a long episode. Who cares?
Fair enough.
But no, this has been great. So, of course.
Thank you so much for promoting. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
No, I
So,
really do.
again, I will say it. April 6th, the Center for Performing Arts at Rhinebeck. Doors at 12:30.
Doors at 12:30,
and then
curtain at 1:15.
Beautiful. And of course, that you can go online to get your tickets to learn more about all the wonderful community organizations that this is benefacting. Of course, you can check that out in the links in description of this episode. John, before we completely wrap up, do you have any last nugget for the Walsh Wednesday listening audience right now?
Do you want me to just go blank, or do you want to pick
Whatever.
a subject?
Just go blank.
I will tell you this.
Okay.
So I had Leslie Wayne on, and Leslie Wayne was diagnosed 4 years ago with cancer and was given 4 years to live. She's kind of week to week, and I had her on the show, and that's a perspective that that's a perspective I don't have yet in my life. Like knowing that probably not going to see May. So I said, okay, give me, you know when you're going to go. You've lived a full life. What's the one thing you would tell the whole world if the whole world is listening? And she said, just be kind to each other.
Amen.
Yeah.
Just got to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, John,
Thanks, brother.
thank you for being kind, and thank you for being here.
My pleasure, man. Thank you.
I'm Connor.
I'm John.
And as always, we're glad we get to.
Spend some time.
And that's a wrap on this week's episode. Special thanks to our guests, Ash Taylor and John Burton. And of course, big thank you to Impact PR and Communications, Teespring, Walsh Valuation, and IABO Board 114. Last but certainly not least, we got to give a big shout out to our Patreon member, Jenna Hess. But you know what? She's getting a little lonely. So how about you keep her company on the Walsh Wednesday Patreon? You can support this channel by becoming a Patreon member with memberships as low as $5 a month. With that, you can get behind-the-scenes content, your name featured in the credits of each episode, and access to the Spend Some Time chat. You can find that and more by scanning the QR code on your screen or by going to the links in the description. As always, I'm Connor Walsh, and I'm glad we get to spend some time.